My name is Donna Wallace, and I am recording the first video in Counseling on Diversity. And I have with me here today Emily. She is very screen shy and has asked if she could not be shown on camera, and I want to respect her privacy. So Emily has come in here today, the result of a situation in her family that has distressed her greatly. And I'm going to let her share the situation here. Emily, would you like to start?
Yeah, my sister is South Korean, and
Can you speak up just a little bit?
yeah.
Make sure our microphone is getting you.
okay. My sister is South Korean, and we've always been able to connect and share about things, but recently she's been growing more and more distant. Our parents went through a divorce when we were younger, and I think some of that's starting to come up now. I found a journal in her room not too long ago that was pretty distressing about how she hated our family, how she wished that she was just better off in the orphanage. And I've noticed that she started cutting herself, and she wouldn't be doing that if there weren't something deeply wrong.
Sure. And how old are you, Emily?
17.
And your sister is in what grade? She's in what? She's middle school?
Yeah.
She's middle school, okay. So there's maybe 3 years difference between the two of you?
Yeah, about.
Okay, all right. Tell me about when Abby was first adopted. How old was she?
She was, I think, 3 months old. I was about 3 years old.
Okay. And what was that like as far as her becoming integrated in the family, and your thoughts and your perspective on that?
She was actually the first, she was actually, I'm the first one that she actually bonded to when she was adopted. She immediately gravitated to me versus either our mom or dad.
That must have been pretty special to you.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. And your relationship up to this point has been
Pretty close.
like sisters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we hang out at home a lot together. But she never expressed anything to me. That kind of stuff that was in her journal. I mean, that was completely. I was completely taken off guard by that.
Well, there sounds like a lot of dynamics going on here. Number one, just I think the normal preteen angst that happens. I can remember when I was younger, writing and thinking and telling my friends how much I hated my parents, and I wish I'd been born in another family and things like that. So some of that may be related to this. However, when you consider that, as you said earlier, when you were completing out your forms and things, that Abby is in the minority in a number of ways. She's in the minority in her own family. And what about the school situation? What is that like?
Predominantly white students.
Okay.
Spoiled.
Spoiled, okay. And so there she's in the minority there in school as well. And also, the divorce is certainly something that we need to take a look at. That's tough in and of itself for anyone.
Yeah.
And then the conflict that she is having, coming to terms with her adoption, which is very common. Adoptees often go through this stage where they have to determine who they are and come to terms with the whole whole idea of being adopted.
Mhm.
Why did my mom and dad not want me? Lots of really, really strong issues. So she's going through a lot right now.
Okay.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
And so tell me about, had she ever, going back to in school, had she ever experienced that you're aware of any racial discrimination, slurs, or anything like that while she was in school?
I can really only remember two instances. One being when she was in elementary school. One kid came up to her on the playground and asked her, "Why are your eyes like that?" And she cleverly responded, "Well, why are your eyes like that?"
Oh. Good for her.
Yeah, and then senior year, there was this little jerk kid in our stagecraft class. We were both in the same class. My senior year, her freshman year. She wasn't there one day, and this kid kept badgering that she wasn't my real sister, and I didn't like that very much. But he was always giving her crap about being adopted and kind of reminding her of that fact.
How did you respond to that?
She got really mad at him one day and yelled at him, and she ended up going to guidance counselor after that.
Because was she being disciplined, or?
I don't know. I don't know if the other kid was ever disciplined. I don't really remember, but it was very that was a hard year for her.
Sounds like it. And it sounds like also that the way that she deals with her frustrations is she doesn't keep it to herself. She acts it out. She's more of an exploder than an imploder, would you say?
Right.
Okay. Okay.
She keeps it in for as long as it'll stay in, and then it'll just come out.
Yeah. So think about what you've recently discovered in terms of the journal and cutting herself. She's trying to find her voice, and it sounds to me like she's trying to find her voice, and she doesn't know how to express all of the dynamics that she's feeling and experiencing. And as I said earlier, most teens go through that type of angst, but when you add to it the ethnic component, the adoption component, the divorce, all of those things are probably seeming insurmountable to her at this point. So how do you feel like your parents are dealing with this?
My dad's kind of buried his head in the sand.
What do you mean?
He kind of just ignores problems until they go away, hoping that they'll go away. I don't think he really knows how to deal with emotional things at all.
Do you think that might make Abby feel like he's withdrawing?
Yeah.
And so that compounds her feeling of not being wanted by her birth parents.
Right.
And so that would compound that, I would think. What about your mom?
Our mom's been very supportive, really, of both of us. She's kind of been the voice of reason with everything, the mediator between us and our dad. Obviously she's very concerned about this.
Well, why do you think that Abby said she hated her mom most of all?
I don't know, maybe projecting from her birth mom.
I think there is a lot of anger there and grief, a lot of grief, and you can deal with grief in a number of different ways, and one of the ways to deal with grief is to isolate self-flagellate yourself. You can punish yourself. You can, lash out. And it sounds to me like she's also experiencing grief in dealing with her adoption, maybe what never was, as she thought back now that she's getting older, and probably also dealing with the divorce, I would think. So let's talk about, we're not going to solve this in one session.
Right.
I think it's really important that you came in and took the step that you did to alert your mom and not be protective of Abby in the sense that you don't want to, expose her or spill the beans. I mean, there's a time when we do need to speak up when someone's in danger, and certainly that is the case here. So
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you for doing that.
Thank you.
I know that your mom has expressed her appreciation for it as well. So what we're going to try to do going forward here is I want to send you home with some homework.
Okay.
Because what happens with, and we just talk about the cultural aspect of it, Abby's she's the minority in her family. She's the minority in her school. She's the minority in her neighborhood. She's the minority everywhere.
Yeah.
And she needs to come to terms with her own personal identity, her ethnic identity, in the midst of all these other things that are going on. And that's an important process that you've really not been faced with. So she's faced with some very unique things that we need to be supportive of and understand what those are. So I'll send you home with some homework
Okay.
on the processes of ethnic identity formation and personal identity formation, especially as it relates to Asians, because each culture has different dynamics in the way that they formulate their ethnic identity.
Okay.
So I'll send you home with some information on that. And I'm concerned that we, first and foremost, we need to make sure that Abby is safe. So, and that her voice is heard. I believe she's trying to have a voice in the way that she's expressing her anger. But she's turning it inwardly, and she's harming herself. And so we have to help understand that and find ways for her to express and have a voice be heard that is not so inappropriate and harmful. So we're going to send you home with homework.
Okay.
I would encourage you, Emily, not to let Abby push you away, because really she doesn't want to. I know that may sound odd, but she really doesn't want to. I think that often we test the boundaries, just like when you were a child, you tested the boundaries of your parents, right?
Yeah.
And Abby's doing that as well. So don't take it personally, and encourage your mom and dad, and I will do so with your mom when we talk, not to take it personally. It is not about you, okay? And it is not about them. And so don't let Abby push you away, because she's grappling with a lot, it sounds like. And don't let her shut you out.
Okay.
Now, you know her better than anyone, it sounds like, and she trusts you a lot. So you'll probably know when to back off and when not. And so let your own, let the Holy Spirit guide you in that. Okay. Another thing that you could do is provide some proactive activities that you and Abby can engage in that will support her ethnic identity and her place in the family and her place in this world.
Okay.
Can you think of maybe an activity that would do that?
I've heard of this event called Chuseok, which is like the South Korean Thanksgiving, like how it'd be the South Korean equivalent of American Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And they have a lot of cultural things that you do there. People dress up in the traditional outfits. They have Korean food there. Lots of different things that you can do there that celebrates her heritage.
And gives you an opportunity to endorse and experience it, and give her a sense that you're going to be in the minority at that event.
Yeah.
So that would be a great opportunity for her then to be
The majority.
You're right. You're right. So that's a great opportunity. So maybe you could talk to your mom, buy some tickets, and if Abby wants to invite a friend or something, that would be a great way then to affirm her in her identity and the value that she has just by being who she is. So why don't we do that, and we'll meet another time and take it another step further, and hopefully we will, after talking with your mom, we'll get Abby in here and just allow her a chance to express the things. I want her to understand that, again, it's not her problem, that it's a family challenge, and so I don't want her isolated out and be the only one coming to counseling. It is a family challenge and a family dynamic which we will solve together. Okay? All right. Well, thank you for coming in, and thank you so much for listening and for viewing this video. I look forward to your constructive